Hello, St. Mary's. I'm OLIVA TALAVAN reporting from Ferragero Quad. Right now it is community hours, which are from 1 to 2. We will be having a guest speaker in just a couple minutes. Her name is Dolores Huerta, who will be speaking of her life and the accomplishments that she has made throughout her life, which have benefited many. But just before she begins, I would like to add that she is the co-founder, along with Cesar Chavez, of the United Farm Workers, and is a women's rights activist.
What you want to leave your children is the love for social justice. You know, if you leave them money or houses or any kind of property, they're all going to fight over it, right? And they're going to get mad at each other, right? So it's better to leave them the love for social justice than to leave them money. We have to remind people that everybody here in the United States, except for Native Americans, are immigrants to these United States of America, right? And they've all gone through some legalization procedure or the other at some time or the other, you know? And so we've got to become educated, and we've got to become active, and we've got to know what's going on. And I know it's hard when I say this because, especially for students, right? You're so busy doing your schoolwork and you want to get those good grades, and it's hard to make a commitment to become active. But if we don't make those commitments to use a little bit of our time to go out there and do work for social justice, it's never going to change.
Hello, here we are with Dolores Huerta, who had just finished her speech. Now I'll be asking her a couple of questions. My first question is, you have won many awards throughout your life, and I was wondering what your greatest accomplishment was and the greatest accomplishment that you think has been established from the farm worker movement. Sorry.
If we measure in terms of how many people have been helped, one of the biggest would have been the legalization of 1,400,000 farm workers under the Immigration Reform Act of 1985-86. But in terms of lasting significance, the fact that the Farm Workers Union still exists to this day, and where no farm worker union had ever existed in the United States of America, and still continues, 40 years from the time that we started it in 1962, then I think that is like a major accomplishment. So.
Because these big giant agribusiness companies go in there, there is no way that the small farmers can compete with agribusiness. So they are literally put out of business. So what are they going to do? They're going to come north, right? They're going to come north because they have to feed their families. So why do I keep talking about laws? Because laws affect people's lives. You know, I like to say sometimes that Election Day is the most important day of our life, you know? Election Day is the most important day of our life because we really don't know what's going on. You know, we watch television at night, we get the news, and we get the crime report, you know?
So you have 11 children, and I was wondering how you were still able to be very prominent as a lobbyist and in the farm worker movement.
Well, the main thing is that getting other people to help take care of the children, dragging the children along with you, knowing that you have to sacrifice giving them a lot of things that other children might have, or they suffered a lot of deprivation, but on the other hand, they did grow up in a movement of social justice, and so they also gained a lot of strength. So the main thing is, I think, as mothers, that we have to make those sacrifices, because otherwise, if we say, well, I can't do anything because I've got all these children, and it doesn't work that way. You've got to make a commitment, make priorities, and there's some things that do have to be sacrificed. But when we think of the state that our country is in, and how much we need to really organize and mobilize ourselves as citizens to make laws that are just, then I think that those sacrifices are worth it.
Make that part of our lives. And I say to students, especially when you're in school, because this is when you're learning, and you can't say, oh, I'm going to wait till I graduate, then I'll go out there and join a march or go do some kind of work for social justice. It's got to be part and parcel of what you're doing. And one big thing that we can do within the next few weeks is to get out there and work in the elections, okay? We need to get out there. We have a democracy, but if people do not vote, that democracy is being taken away from us even as we speak. Even as we speak.
What do you think is the biggest need for the farmers today in the United States?
But the farm workers today still have pretty much the same needs, is that they just need a union. They need to have better wages, health plan, medical plans, pension plans, decent treatment. But the right to organize is the most important, because if they get the right to organize, they get the right to have a union, then the other things will follow, just the way they did here in California, where the farm workers have union contracts. They are protected on their jobs. They have job security. They have paid vacations, paid holidays, decent treatment, toilets in the fields, right? All of those things that are just basic that people need.
Because people do not leave their homes, especially those places that are like paradises that we go to as tourists to come to the United States, just for fun. They come here out of necessity. They come here because they need to feed their families.
And how is the UFW dealing with the tightening of the borders? Has there been any change or anything?
Well, actually, I think in some respects it's actually helped, because the growers, the growers aren't able to bring in as many people like they usually do from Mexico and Central America, to sort of flood the fields, so that the workers that are there right now, I think, feel a little more secure about being able to vote for the union.
They want to incarcerate the people that are out there picking our food, people that are taking care of our elderly and our sick and our disabled and our children. People that are doing hard work. They're not talking about incarcerating people that are coming across the border. They're talking about incarcerating the people that are here right now.
I was wondering, just if you could tell me a little about how Cesar Chavez was as a person.
Well, Cesar was a very strong person, very committed, very much, he would start working early in the morning, work till very late at night, and very focused in terms of just his whole commitment to getting farm workers organized. He was also, had a lot of humor. He was a gentle person in the way he spoke. He wasn't like a bombastic speaker, very quiet. A lot of discipline, very, very disciplined. A person, you can imagine, they can go 36 days without eating, what kind of discipline that takes in an individual.
We've got to really find out what's going on. We've got to get involved. We've got to be aware. And we've got to start running for office, okay? You folks out there, okay? Some of you have got to get out there and you've got to start running for some of these offices. And when I was in Montgomery last week, I thought to myself, they did that great civil rights march that started from Selma to Montgomery. And I was standing there, and I got to speak there at the Rosa Parks Museum. And I thought to myself, you know what? That March for Justice has not ended, right? That March for Justice has not ended. It's going to go from Montgomery, and we're going to take it throughout our United States of America, and we're going to take it through the rest of the world, right? We are going to continue the work of Rosa Parks. We're going to continue the work of Dr. Martin Luther King.
What do you think women still need today?
Well, we need to get more women elected to office, because if we do not have any women there in all of the decision-making positions, they keep making the wrong decisions, right? So we've got to make sure that we get more women in different positions, school board, city council, state legislature, U.S. Congress, and eventually the presidency.
Thank you.
Can we bring justice to this world? Do our bit? We like to say, si se puede, which means in Spanish, yes, we can. Si se